Good afternoon, Tiger Nation, and welcome to Sturgis Physical Education Center here on the campus of Ouachita Baptist University. Tonight, the Ouachita Tigers will be facing off against against GAC foes from Magnolia and the Southern Arkansas University Mule Riders. Tonight, it is set to start at 6 o'clock, so we're just a few minutes here underway. Ouachita getting their final warm-ups in, as you can see on the screen. I am Matthew Branch, and I am joined here tonight by former Ouachita head coach Danny Prescott.
Glad to be back again. This is fun.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to have you here. It's nice to know somebody nice to have somebody up here who knows a whole lot more about volleyball than I do. I'm learning, but I'm still a little bit behind the curve and getting everything to go, or knowing enough to do a successful broadcast on my own.
It's definitely a sport that takes a little getting used to, because it's not like any other sport you're around and play growing up.
Exactly. And we're looking for a pretty good matchup here tonight. The Tigers are coming into the night 2-4 overall on the season. And it also means 2-4 in conference, because they're only playing conference games. And then SAU's coming in 0-5. But when you look at the 4 losses for Ouachita, those 4 losses have come to teams that are ranked in the top 15 ranked top 15 nationally.
Well, Arkansas Tech and Harding they're just traditional powerhouses. We've had several years, and when they played Arkansas Tech 2 weeks ago, they played them great. And it was just one of those games where Arkansas Tech's got a little more power at certain positions, and when they're on fire, they're on fire. We had a couple of those moments where you could see us, we played like a young team. And again, we're still, at any time they've got 4 freshmen on the court, and you got to look at the future sometimes and go, we're competing now, what will they do in 2 years? So it's pretty exciting to see what the future holds for them over the next couple of years with this young group.
Like I said, they got the 2 toughest teams already out of the way this season, because they've already played Arkansas Tech and Harding twice. They're top of the leaderboards in standing. Harding at 6-0 and Arkansas Tech at 4-1. That one loss was to Harding. Henderson State's at 3-3, so they're in 3rd, and then UAM and Ouachita are tied at 4th at 2-4, and then SAU's in the bottom half of the Eastern Division at 0-5. So, but the thing is, I was looking at SAU's stats and looking at where they stood in the whole GAC. SAU's stats were a little bit higher than Ouachita in most categories, despite having that 0-5 record. And go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's one unique thing about volleyball stats. Sometimes in most sports, stats will tell you a pretty good picture. There are times that you'll win a set, 30-28, and have great stats. The next one you lose 30-15, or we're doing the 25 now, 25-15. So you have these stats that look great, and then they drop, but then the 3rd set and 4th set you play great. So all of a sudden, stats look low, but you've played all around a great game.
Gotcha. And like I said, I was looking at SAU's. They've been swept a couple times, but they'd also played everybody close. They had only lost 1 set by more than 5 points. And Ouachita is a similar story. They've had a few sets where they got beat by quite a few, but for the most part, they've been playing everybody close. I mean, with Tech, they've been swept twice this season. They got swept by Tech to start the season, and then swept at Harding back on March 4th. After that, and then, like I said, they beat SAU 3-2 back for a game 2. That was their first win, and that was at SAU. And then they beat Henderson here 2 weeks ago 3-1. So I feel like Ouachita's kind of got the worst out of the way, and they can kind of focus on hopefully getting some more wins and getting higher up in the Eastern Division.
And that's where you start tonight, and you just look at it and go, we beat SAU at their place. We just need to play starting out at our highest level. That's easier said than done. And traditionally speaking, against SAU, whether it's at our place or theirs, they're always close matches. It's just one of those. For some reason, it's a rivalry. And even as a coach for 15 years, so I never quite understood why that particular match was such a big rivalry, but it always was. And our girls just have to step up tonight and go, this is a game that matters, and it puts them right back in that hunt for the 3rd spot, which would be a great way to end this unique season.
Definitely. Like I said, they're 1 game back on Henderson. They still have to play Henderson one more time, but Henderson also has to go up against some pretty solid competition so far this year. And SAU has only played Harding, and I think they've only played Arkansas Tech once. So we'll take a quick pause for our national anthem. We'll be getting ready to bring you set 1. And that means we are just about ready to start. No pregame handshakes. You can see them waving back and forth now due to COVID restrictions. You see you've got the bench all spread out. We saw that last time we were here. Said several players leaving masks on to play. Like I said, it's a very weird season, but the main thing is we're getting to play volleyball.
Absolutely. It was something that, looking back at the spring when we started closing things down and then missing all of the fall, I've got a 12-year-old son now that's been an OBU fan, obviously, since birth. But he was devastated that we weren't getting to come watch volleyball in the fall and see football games and come to basketball. So we're excited to be able to just be a part of it again and to see kids playing a game that kind of brings some joy and entertainment to life again. And so it's exciting.
Yeah, and with the GAC, we are allowed to have a few fans here. I believe it's 4 tickets per player now. And so there's a, like I said, we saw some decent amount of fans last time. Looking to see about the same here tonight. Said basketball recently wrapped up its season where they started allowing parents in.
And it's been a very fluid situation where I guess whatever punch you get hit with, you go with. So there have been times when they've had kids or when they've had to go home, when they've been able to practice, not practice, practice small groups. So again, everything that they do has been revolving around what the COVID restrictions are allowed.
Looks like SAU will be serving first. And back to serve for SAU will be number 4, Morgan Schuster. She's one of the starters for the Mule Riders. Also stars, we've got number 8, Bailey Kirk. I thought that one hit the ground. That was a good save there, but that was too far out. So Washita will get the first point there.
That's one of those, as a coach, you look at players and EJ takes a quality swing, takes them completely out of system, and then gets no reward for it because it's just an attempt. Even though when you look at it later, we got that point because of what she did.
That was Kellen Church serving, the freshman out of Jonesboro. That was Day there with another good attack.
That one hit the antenna on the swing. So.
That's what I thought it was, making sure there. That'll be Church back to serve again. What an athlete Church has been for Washita. She's playing both volleyball and softball, which normally wouldn't be a big deal. We talked about this last time, but both have seasons going on right now. It was 2 weeks ago, right after Washita beat Henderson here when you were on the call. The next day she was playing a doubleheader in softball. Another point there for Washita.
That's where EJ, having watched a few games already this year, I've seen her mature. That swing that she just took was a great off-speed swing. And earlier, even at the Henderson match, she was kind of blasting the ball. So it's good to see that just little bits of improvement along the way.
Yep, and that's EJ Day, a freshman out of Belle Chase, Louisiana. Good block there by the Tigers. Tigers off to an early 4-0 lead. This is one of the first times we've seen them been able to get a lead to start a set. We've seen it before where they'd get behind and struggle, or it'd be real close all the way up into the end, but we're up 4-0 to start.
And it's that point where as a coach you go, okay, kind of keep your composure and keep building the lead, and don't let up because you build the lead. But right now she's serving very aggressively, and they're not making good service passes, so it's really making it probably a little bit easier than it will be as soon as SAU relaxes.
One thing they're doing is it looks like they've been keeping the ball away from SAU's leading attacker, and that's Morgan Gross, which is the one who just sent it over the net there. That's number 14. She leads SAU with 74 kills overall and 3.7 a set. That was another good kill there by EJ Day. Washita out to a 6-0 lead now. Church serves it away again, and that'll be a service ace for Kellen Church. She actually leads the team right now. That's her 7th service ace of the season. So I can take a timeout. We'll stay here throughout the timeout. But that was a great start for the Tigers here, jumping out 7-0 on the Mule Riders.
And again, as a player, it's where you've got to kind of not look at the scoreboard and just maintain that focus. We're up 7-0. Let's just get one at a time. But right now, if you're SAU's coach, he's got to be over there just telling them, hey, y'all take a breath, calm down a little bit. Let's get the flow back. and they've got to serve receive better, or it will be a quick night for them.
Said one thing, they've taken a lot of their opponents to 5 sets this year. They've been, I mean, both of these teams have been swept a couple times, but they also fight it to the end, just like Ouachita has. So Ouachita's just come out on the better end of some of those closer ones. Granted, the Henderson State game was 3-1,
and that one could have gone either way in a couple of sets. So,
like I said, the first match between these two ended up going the full 5. That was an attack error on Gross. Ouachita now up 8-0.
And I guess right now they've got 3 freshmen, a sophomore, and a junior and a senior on the court. So it is a young.
That is what it looks like. So the senior is Shannon Hogan out there. You've got Lexi Caslow as a junior. Church, Day, and Jones are all freshmen, and that means Carly Ferguson is the sophomore. So a very young court out there for the Tigers.
And again, you have to look at it and go, there's just aspects of what they're doing that are so good right now, and it's just going to get better with them. And again, right now, it's just simple for SAU. They're just not able to serve receive the ball well. And again, that can be nerves, that can be traveling. There's so many things that factor into it. And as soon as they calm down, I imagine they're going to put up a good fight. And again, as SAU, you want to look at this set and go, okay, we're down 11. Likelihood of coming back is slim, but we want to steal some momentum and get a few good plays that give us confidence to do well in the second set. But as we've seen before, you can be up 7 or 8 and all of a sudden down 2.
And a service error gets SAU their first point, and they'll get to serve for the second time tonight. Back to serve for SAU now is going to be number 8, Bailey Kirk. Nope, she'll hand it off to number 19. That is Gabby Thrower, the sophomore out of Jonesboro. Good save there by Castello. Hogan will have to put it back over. See, Gross there gets to kill. So Gross is a senior out of Bandera, Texas. See, now I don't know that many random towns in the country, but I do know Bandera, Texas, as that's where I've got an aunt and uncle. It's a town of about 800 people northwest of San Antonio, like middle of nowhere, Texas.
I was going to ask you where it's at because I'm from Dallas and I've never heard of it.
It is just northwest. It's north of Hondo, Texas. If that,
I know where Hondo is.
So I think it's about 30, 45 minutes north of Hondo. They claim to be the cowboy capital of the world. So the only reason I know that is because I have an aunt and uncle that live there, and that'll be a service ace. That'll get SAU their third point. But yeah, so there's your random fact of the day. Bandera, Texas, cowboy capital of the world.
And this is the moment after we missed 2 consecutive serves that we need to make sure the next time we side out that we get that next serve in and make them earn a point.
A good kill there. That was Carly Ferguson.
Carly's out of Conway.
I said, yep, Ferguson, a sophomore at Conway and Conway High School. Elementary education major. A lot of education majors on the volleyball team, I've noticed. So they have a great program here at Ouachita.
It is, and they do a great job with working with the athletes here to make sure that they can still do student teaching and not miss out on sports. And because at the end of the day, as much as we love this part of it, they're here to get the degree and to do something positive afterwards.
Speaking of student teaching, one of the main starters for the basketball team, Eden Crow, she was student teaching, would leave student teaching, come over here, and then she ended up hitting a buzzer beater in the first round of the conference tournament to send Ouachita women's team to the quarterfinals.
Unfortunately, we had to watch that one online at home, but it was so exciting.
Oh, it was great to watch. We were in the new production trailer. I was running graphics. We were back there watching it. It did a great job getting that camera feed on it. That was Luke Robertson, who was the one in charge of camera switching. Another point there for SAU. Tigers are now up 9, 14-5.
And this is where you want to just kind of just maintain that lead. Even if you go 2 for 1, it still ends up pretty close and gives them momentum. So you want to kind of get this. Whoops.
A good recovery there to make up for that initial reception. That point to go to SAU off the error there by Emily Lowe. Lowe currently leading the team in hit percentage, kills, blocks, and points overall. That one's got a little bit too far away for Castlo to grab, and now the lead's cut down to 7.
And again, this is what you were talking about earlier, that SAU is going to continue to fight, and you have to find ways to just maintain that lead and stay composed.
Well, like we were talking about, SAU's fighting back here after being down 10-0 to start. They had fought back to make it 7. Now it's back to 8. 15-7 here.
And so it's a mental thing. When you get to 25, if they're in that 16-17 range still, as a player you look up, and as a coach you go, they solidly beat us. But if you cut it to 25-19, then you have all this momentum that you just stole. And that 8 or 9 points is different than 5 or 6 the way it looks to you.
That one just got the corner there, or got the edge there. That was a good attack there by SAU, so they'll get the point there. Back to a 7-point set. Serving now, that was number 3, Abby Bermudez. Day's shot is blocked. Go for it again, it's blocked once again. Church will try to attack it there, but it'll be too much, and it'll go out of bounds on that one.
And again, that's the spot where EJ, the more she plays, that second swing, instead of blasting off to try to hit hands, she'll turn and either go hard line with it, or she'll just hit it cross. They had a net violation, so it gives us a point. But that was that swing. She made an adjustment. Instead of swinging to the middle of the court, she tried to turn hard line.
I said, we've seen this team kind of, like you talked about earlier, mature here through this season. And they, like I said, they face some stiff competition in Arkansas Tech, who's ranked 14th in the country, and Harding, who's ranked 8th. So not easy people to play, already to have them played twice apiece this season.
And both of those gyms are hard enough to play in without them being
exactly
a great team this year.
That ball was set just a little bit too far, and Ouachita now back up by 8 points. Got to go off the block attempt and go out, so it'll be a point for SAU. That was number 18. That is Victoria White, a freshman out of Kansas City, Missouri. Back to serve now is going to be number 4. That's Morgan Schuster out of Arlington, Texas.
It looks like SAU's kind of got a mix of young and old, as we call them.
So that'll be out. So that'll be a point, Ouachita. They're now back up 8 points, 18-10. Yeah, they've got a little bit of, or like I said, SAU is spread out. Like I said, Gross is a senior. You've got number 10, who's a junior. That's Olivia Hesman. Nope, she's on the sideline. I looked at that wrong. That's number 13. That's another senior, Lauren Smith. That's a good attack there by Day. Getting another point for the Tigers. Now up 19-10. That's going to be her 4th kill of the day. Our 4th kill of the set.
I don't know what she's averaging for the year, but the few matches I've watched, she's done. Oh, it's right here in front of me.
Yeah, she's averaging 179 a set so far this season. And she's already got 5 now, according to live stats.
And again, that's one of those areas that it's 179 this year. It'll probably be 2 by the end of the year, and then next year 2-5.
Ferguson's block attempts get ricocheted right back into the court, so that'll be a point.
But that's where SAU, when they're serve receiving well or getting a free ball, they're taking advantage of it. But again, you start out down 11-0, it's a huge hill to climb.
I said after starting 11-0, they've been able to squeezed the margin down 2 because they're now down 9. Now back to 10.
And that was EJ again.
We saw EJ have a great day last time here whenever they played Henderson. Got a few subs. Looks like Hogan came out and Riley Fielder is now in on the front row. That one to ricochet out. That'll be another point for the Tigers. Take another timeout, but it's like Fielder, she's back in now, and she kind of struggled to start the season, but we saw her really start playing well against Henderson State, and she's really started to come on in there.
She played well at Tech. I mean, I watched that one, and she had a great night against a very good team, a good defensive team, good offensive team. And for Riley, it's still when she's confident and realizes that she can play, like she's really good and she's fun to watch.
And hopefully we can see that continue tonight. And she's averaging 2 kills a set now. Like I said, she struggled a bit at the beginning of the season, but really starting to come in there now, averaging, like I said, 2.18 kills per set. Has 48 on the year, or 49 now since she has one tonight.
But I've been able to see Riley play since her 12 or 13 years old. So the improvement that she's had over the years has been phenomenal. Her vertical, I think she's close to touching 10, and that's just impressive.
Yeah, she's listed at 5'10" on the roster online, and she's from Little Rock. A point there for SAU. Still 10-point match, or 10-point set.
And I think that's our 4th service error. And you can't guarantee yourselves that you'll get those points if it plays out, but you guarantee you don't if you miss them. So probably want to limit that to a couple a set as opposed to 4 or 5. But that's EJ taking a quality swing from back row and keeping them out of system.
You're talking about service errors. The average, so far, SAU's had 44, but we haven't really seen them serve much tonight. It's a good big goal by Church. And they've given up 33, or they've had 33 service errors against them so far, but they've had some decent competition. That'll be a kill there for Ferguson. That was a good little
smart little tip shot. A lot of times as the play progresses, the middle of the court, we talked about it last time, it's called the donut, but the middle of the court just kind of opens up, and she read it perfectly.
So now you're at 23-12. Make it 24-12. We're at set point here for set number 1. Tigers looking to claim this one, or get a 1-set lead on the night. It's best out of 5. Ferguson served it there. Gross with an attack. That was a good dig by Church. And Gross will get the kill, so we'll see another set point here, make the score 24-13. Still an 11-point deficit here for SAU, so we're right back where we started, that 11 points.
And after this set's over, as SAU's coach, you want to go in and go, look, we spotted them 11-0 run, and then we play point for point. So start out level, play our game.
So we saw this with Ouachita against Henderson. They struggled in that first set, lost by, I think it was 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. And then after that, they came back and won 3 straight.
Yes.
So,
and again, it's just you have to play confident and stay up. And if you have a few unforced errors, like those really don't bother you much because it's not a normal. It's just one of those things that happens. But here you want to do it and not let them cut it into the lead anymore. There you go.
And Ouachita will win it on a service error by Morgan Gross. So Ouachita will take set 1. They're up 1-0 now. So we'll be right back here with set number 2. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back here. You're watching Ouachita Volleyball on the Ouachita Sports Digital Network.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
And welcome back to Sturgis Physical Education Center here at Ouachita Baptist University. So getting ready for set number 2. Ouachita leads at 1-0. They won the first set 25-15, a dominant win over there. Jumped out to that 11-0 start, and that's really what gave them that victory there, because after that, like you said, SAU played point for point all the way up. And
you just want to, from the OB side of it, you want to go out and set that standard again where you go out and play very aggressive at the start and not give SAU the opportunity to feel like they're really in it tonight. You just want to kind of keep them on the ropes. But we hit 269, which is 130 points higher than season average, and they hit negative 038, which is roughly 150 to 160 points below their season average. So when those things kind of level out, then all of a sudden you have that super tight match. Now, you hope it doesn't. You hope at the end of the night they're hitting negative and we hit close to 300. That'd be great. But the biggest thing is we had 6 attack errors. They had 6 attack errors and 5 kills. We had 9-2. And anytime you're on the plus side of your kills and on the plus side of their kills, then you're probably in a good position. And we had 5 service aces.
They also had those 3 service errors to their 1. But, I mean, one of those things, you look at that, they still won the set. That's the important thing.
And we gave ourselves some wiggle room to stay aggressive on the serves. All of a sudden you get to 15-15 and people get timid. They don't want to miss the serve. And there we were able to stay aggressive the whole time.
So Ouachita is looking for their 3rd GAC win tonight, if they can pick this up. So there is the buzzer, so we'll be getting ready for set number 2. We'll see who's about to serve it away. So far, but EJ Day got 6 total kills in that first set. That is way above her per set average. Looks like Ouachita will be serving first. And I believe that's going to be Church serving for Ouachita. Like I said, she played against Henderson, did very well. Then went right down the road to Sully Anderson Field and played in game 2, and SAU will start first there. But she played in game 2 of a doubleheader for softball, went 3 for 3. And beating out the thing is, it was all infield hits, but she beat out the throw to first every single time. So you can see her athleticism in that dual sport athlete.
There have been a couple of plays that she makes where you can just see that she's a very quick athlete. And as much as you want to be fast in softball, being quick from home to first is more important than just being fast, which may be hard to grasp, but it is.
And that'll be another kill for EJ Day. I think that might have gone out, but luckily that went off the hands of number 8. That's Bailey Kirk.
There's a lot to be said. If you can hit a ball hard enough at somebody's face, they're going to protect themselves. So even if the ball's going out, a lot of times the reflexes just kick in and you put your hands up high and go. That was a good save.
That'll be a kill for Carly Ferguson. That'll be her 3rd of the night.
And there's one thing with EJ hitting really well on the outside, that's going to really help our middles because they're not going to just be able to sit on any one player.
Said Ouachita now up 2-1. And SAU will get the point there, so it'll be 2-2.
And they called a net violation on us. I think that ball was in, but irrelevant if we got called for that. So
the end of play now is we also saw Brooke Jones come in. It looks like she came in for Hogan. That'll be a little bit too much. So SAU will take a lead there, 3-2. One player we haven't seen tonight that we saw a lot of last time was Kayla Steinmeier. She's currently leading the kills per set at 2.42. But we might see her later, but haven't seen her so far tonight. A good block there by low infielder.
Right now is one of those moments where both of your outsides are being pretty productive, and so sometimes a kid that might play otherwise just may not get a chance because the other ones are doing what they're supposed to do.
I think that was a good idea there by Lowe. Just put a little bit too much on it and put it out of bounds.
That was right direction. There was nobody in the one corner.
Ouachita is still up 4-3 now. Just a bad reception there. I'll be tied up at 4-4. Gross will be serving once again. Received by a fielder on that one. And Lowe will get the kill. It was a great attack there by Emily Lowe.
And Emily does a great job of reading the court. She does it's excellent what she sees. And as a middle, you always love that when you get one that can read the court without having to be consistent where they go, and they just read and adjust.
St. Lowe's a junior out of Austin, Texas, majoring in psychology here at Ouachita. That was going out of bounds off the hands of Juliana Mack.
And this is what you'd expect from an SAU team, to come back out and really fight. We used to talk about the fact that teams just don't lay down and give up. They want to fight you.
Game tied now at 5-5. Good block there by the Tigers. Another point there for Ouachita. They'll take a 1-point lead at 6-5. Quick substitution. Looks like Hogan's going to come in for fielder. Quick update from the GAC. Henderson State up on Harding in set number 1, 23-21. That's going to go out.
Great. No, she got to it.
Good job there by Hogan to be able to get out to that one. That'll be an attack error there on the Mule Riders, number 1, Kennedy Poe. Tigers now up 2 points. Hogan will serve it away, and that was received by Gross. Good dig there by Castello, and stayed alive there for a second, just couldn't get it back up over the net. Now a 1-point game. SAU to serve it away here once again. That was number 3, Abby Bermudez. Good job there by Mule Riders. They tied it back up at 7.
That was a good swing by EJ. She tried to turn it. She just didn't quite cut it far enough, but that was also the block doing what they're supposed to do.
That was a good block there by SAU to get to, now they take the lead 1-0, or take a 1-point lead, 8-7.
And that wouldn't surprise me if the next ball EJ gets, if she's not able to take a quality swing, if she rolls it to the deep, I will take that. She'll tell you that was a miss hit, but those sometimes are the best swings.
Hey, sometimes it's better to be lucky. Back tied up here at 8. That'll be a point for Ouachita. They're now up 1 point once again. 9-8 is the score here. Castello to serve it away. Castello leading the GAC in digs still 2 weeks later. That'll go off the hands, and that'll be a point for SAU. Tied back up at 9. Schuster to serve it away for SAU.
From a coaching perspective, I think there are times you wished every game could be 25-15. But from a fan perspective, it's really fun to watch the close ones. The energy gets high on both teams, and it's just exciting to watch.
Any sport where it's going to come down to the wire is always fun to watch. That was just another miss hit there by Day.
And that one, she was doing everything she could to save it. And sometimes you just try a little bit too hard to do something that you, instead of just keeping the ball alive, you try to make a great play. But you'll respect that when she's a junior, because that'll be a point for her.
Tigers get the point off the service error there. It's tied back up at 10. Church to serve it away. So there was that donut we were talking about. They found the hole there and get the point. SAU back up by 1.
One thing I like is Church has a very good jump float serve. And although I don't know exactly where the coaches are calling her serves, it looks like she's hitting spots because there's no facial expression that changes when she serves. You can usually tell when somebody misses where they're supposed to go, because they'll have that look of, oops.
It's harder to do when you have a mask, or harder to tell when you have a mask on. Point there for Ouachita. Tied back up at 11.
I like that Carly Ferguson's been so aggressive with her swings. And by being very aggressive, it allows that one tip she got earlier to be very effective.
Now that one will be out of bounds. That'll be another point for Ouachita. They're back to, well, they're tied it up at 11. Or no, 1 point lead at 12. That's what I thought. Just took a second to get it on the scoreboard. Got to go through the block there. That's a kill for number 18, Victoria White, for SAU.
And now that SAU is a little bit more in system on their serve receive, you can see that they've got some offensive tools to go with it.
And another update from the GAC. Henderson State takes set one from Harding. That'll go off. That'll be another point for SAU. They win that one 26-24. So a possible upset brewing up in Searcy, Arkansas tonight. I mean, still a lot of volleyball left.
Yes. And it wouldn't surprise me if the next set Harding comes out and wins 25-12. Because they are a dominant team. And if they played a lot of times those dominant teams come off a big 3-0 win, and then they kind of let up going, well, that team that we beat 3-0 got beat by the team that we're, so it's.
SAU now with a 2-point lead here in set number 2. Back to serve is going to be the libero, Bailey Kirk. That would be a good kill there. I believe that was number 21. That's Brooke Jones, the freshman out of Greenwood.
And that was a great swing. One of the hardest parts on the court to defend is the one corner, which is where right now where the libero is set up on their team. Your setter plays that. That was a big hit.
Really big kill there for Morgan Gross.
But you either have your setter in the right back position or a DS, and if you can go to that deep corner, it's hard for the setter to play the ball, but it's equally hard for a defensive player to get back to that spot.
So 2 points set here. That was a good dig by Castello.
And there's that one corner. And it doesn't matter how you get the ball to it. It's just a great position.
Like I said, it was a little bit too much there for Gross to handle it first, and then it was just an awkward kind of space that he ended up in. Back to a 1-point set. SAU leads at 15-14. Max to serve it away. And that'll get down, and that'll tie it back up. Schuster could not get back to it. Tied up at 15. So Mack, one of the two seniors on the team, senior out of Little Rock, Arkansas, and Pulaski Academy, who just served it away for the Tigers. Good block there by the Tigers. Look what they're calling. I believe was that a net violation they called?
They called a net violation, but it was going out anyways. So it's one of those.
Those net violation ended up going off of Gross. Looks like they're trying to get some of the sweat wiped up from the floor.
And there's one thing about our court. When the humidity starts to pick up outside, floor gets a little skatey.
It's not the most insulated of gyms. That'll go out there. That'll be another point for Ouachita. They're now back up to 17-15.
And that's the swing you want to see from Riley every time, because she has a tendency, because she jumps well, she'll lower that right elbow, and that makes her shorter. So when she swings over the top, she hits high off the hands from a lot of people, so that's what you want her to do.
And it looks like SAU will call their first time out of set number 2. Said Ouachita is leading 17-15. Said it's been a good performance so far. Tigers' hitting percentage still staying up. There's actually gone up 20 points. They're hitting 289 now. SAU's now gotten into the plus.
They're hitting almost their average, factoring in the first set, because they're at 100, but they're in that 140, 150 range.
That's right. So they're starting to even it back up in the kills that we were talking about. Their attack errors is probably the area that's been hurting them the most. So they're sitting at 10. So 10 of Ouachita's points have come from the attack errors from SAU. So we're getting ready to start back here.
And the fact that we've got 17 kills and 4 errors, that's outstanding.
Mack to serve once again. That's a good kill there for White. That will make it a 1-point set once again. 17-16. As Gabby Thrower gets ready to serve for SAU. Fielder with the attack. That was a good block there by Lowe and Fielder. They'll get another point.
I think that's their second. Well, I guess they gave us counted one as a solo block earlier, but I think that's their second block assist.
So Ouachita has when they're playing well, they have a great front row. And they really seem to have been coming together here lately. That was a good dig there by Hogan. That was a good job there by Tigers keeping that one alive. Maybe a point for Ouachita. They're now up 3. We talked about this last time. That 3-point lead you kind of want whenever you hit 20.
Yes.
And they can hit 20 right now. They'll have that 4-point. And that you were talking last time. I remember that one. You want that at least 3-point buffer once you hit 20. Another dig there by Castello.
They called a double on the set on that one.
So we've hit that 20-point mark. Tigers now 5 points away from getting set number 2. Hogan now to serve for Ouachita. Received by Gross. And another attack error gets Ouachita up 5, 21-16. And SAU will take their second timeout.
And you have to really like what OBU has done to this point. They were down a couple of points in this set, and they battled back to tie it, and then they made a run. And again, that's what that experience brings you when you play tough teams. You learn how to kind of weather that little storm and go, all right, we just have to do what we do well and continue to do it.
And I'm pretty sure Ouachita has to have had one of the hardest opening schedules so far. I mean, you had Tech right out of the gate. First game in well over a year. Mm-hmm. And it was at home, but it was no fans. It was quiet in here. It wasn't spec that we normally see.
Well, from what I understand from that set or that match was it had that very spring type feel to it, which normal spring for volleyball, you're competitive, but they're pretty relaxed settings. There aren't many fans, and it's hard as a player. It's hard to really get up for it to where you're going like, oh, we got to go. It's time to play. We got fans watching us. But again, I've been really impressed with just the different areas where they continue to improve kind of week to week.
And I realized I misspoke earlier. I said that, another point for Ouachita there at 22-16. I said that they played both Harding and Arkansas Tech twice. They played Arkansas Tech twice and Harding once. That other loss came against UAM. I misspoke earlier.
That's right. It was at UAM.
Yeah, they lost at UAM back on February 9th.
So they'll still get Harding here, I think, next week.
March 23rd.
Okay, 2 weeks.
That'll be the last home game here and that'll be against Harding. So 2 weeks. They've got SAU tonight, then they've got UAM next week. So they had 3 straight home games. It's another kill for E.J. Day, make it 9. So she's averaging 4.5 a set now, way above her average coming into tonight. And Washita now 2 points away. They're up by 7. Another serve from Hogan. That was a good kill there by Kennedy Poe.
Yes, it was.
Poe's a sophomore out of League City, Texas. Back to serve for SAU is going to be Abby Bermudez out of Kaufman, Texas. And Day will pick up her 10th kill, and that puts her in double digits.
Now, I don't know if you've kind of been watching what EJ's doing. She's kind of working the entire court with her swings. Really, I saw her some of the club video. The coach sends it every once in a while and lets me watch some things. Keeps me involved enough that I feel like I'm enjoying it. But she's going to be as she progresses over the next 3 years, she's going to be a really, really good player for them.
That'll put us at, oh, that was set point. I lost track of that. Was set point here. So Washita takes set 2, 25-17. They're up 2-0 now over the SAU Mule Riders. So we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back with set number 3. Washita up 2-0. You're watching Washita Volleyball on the Washita Sports Digital Network.
We believe in a faith that seeks understanding. So as a university, we believe that all of the various things that we study allow us to really develop a more vigorous faith.
Washita Baptist is so catered to growing in your spiritual walk.
My interaction with professors and fellow students in classes and learning has helped me learn more about who God is in my personal life.
One of the beauties of the education that we give to our students is to expose them to the various realms of knowledge, which then equips them as men and women of faith to be able to understand and really appreciate the complicated world in which we live.
Washita Baptist has taught me how a love for God and a love of learning really go hand in hand.
By coming to Washita and finding mentors on staff or upperclassmen who are older than me, I really started to discover who God was and learn how to go to His Word and His truth and learn who He was.
We want you to be the very best you. We believe that's God's plan for you. We believe that He wants you to develop unique gifts and abilities to the fullest extent and to equip you to have the very best future that you can have.
Certainly, there's no better time than now, and I think the sooner the better as you go through life to get your education completed. We wanted it to be practical, and we wanted it to be accessible.
Students, I think, that are learning online have the same desires, same needs, and it's up to us to come up with as creative ways as possible of making sure that all those needs are met.
It's not just getting a degree, it's not just checking a box, it's about us investing an education into these students.
And welcome back to Sturgis Physical Education Center. Getting ready for set number 3. Washita leads it 2-0 over the SAU Mule Riders. Washita looking to get their first sweep of the year. And so they're one set away from it, but SAU's been fighting so far. I know the score hasn't, they're both sets are completely different stories, even though the scores look similar.
Well, in the first one, we go up 11-0. The second one, I think we were tied 15-15.
Yep.
And we go on a 10-2 run. So both games have been runs by us, and it's been our offensive and it's been their hitting errors that have kind of allowed those runs to happen. Because we're hitting almost 300, and they're 17 kills, 13 hitting errors.
So Washita at 20 kills and 4 attack errors. Half of the kills coming from E.J. Day alone. She's got 10. The next closest is Carly Ferguson with 4. And you've got Riley Fielder with 3. It's been Tigers really showing out tonight in these first 2 sets. Some good numbers. Lexi Castelo already has 13 digs on the night.
Which is her, I think she's averaging close to 6. You've got it somewhere, but I haven't.
She's averaging 6.74 a set.
Okay, so she's a little bit below her average at 6.5. But that won't affect the stats if you average 6.
Said she's leading the GAC. Like I said, it had her at, I think, 108, but she picked up a lot against Harding last week, so they hadn't put those stats into the GAC website yet. But she's up to 155 on the season coming into tonight. And that looks like that was just some miscommunication there. Let that spot kind of get open and Ouachita will strike first.
That's one of those plays where somebody looks and thinks, well, maybe somebody else can get to it, but nobody's going to get to it.
Kellen Church already has 16 assists on the night. She averages 7 a set. So about right on average.
And now that they're running the 5-1, that'll continue to go up because the reality of a 6-2 is you only touch the ball half the time. So if you're averaging 6 or 7, theoretically, if you were playing all the way around, you wouldn't double it because it just doesn't quite work that way. But she should be in that 10 to 11 range after the next couple of games.
She has snuck into the top 20 in the GAC, and the entire GAC in assists per set. And so I feel like that number, like you said, that's going to go up too. I mean, she's getting a lot of assists.
Yes,
so.
And again, that's one of those stats where it's a little bit deceptive because of what they were doing at the beginning of the season versus now.
SAU up 2-1. That'll be kill number 11 for EJ Day. I said having a great day out here on the court. Tigers tie it back up at 2.
You would love for her to be able to do that every time she steps on the court. I know that's not how it works, but with the more and more confidence that she gets, it will be more and more consistent. And she's got a good hard float. It's kind of a drive serve, and unfortunately those sometimes just keep on going. They'll land close to the back wall if you're not careful.
That will go off the hands of Castello. SAU now up 4-2.
One thing I really like about Castello is she goes for everything. She has that mindset, if we can just get a touch, then we've got a chance. And you saw it earlier when she made a play and then Shannon chased it down and we get the point off of it.
That was a good block there by SAU. That block was by
number 18.
That was number 18, Victoria White, and also going up for it looked like number 13. That's Lauren Smith. There was nobody there to get that one.
Now, sometimes when a ball just kind of dives on your arm, it doesn't give anybody a chance to get to it, but here's where they're probably going to go right back at Riley again and serve at her.
Yep, there it is, but this time it stays back towards the main part of the court. Yeah. Couldn't quite get under that one. That'll be went off the hands of Day. Day will come out and looks like Bethany Letourneau comes in. She made her debut last week against Harding, I believe. She played 4 sets.
That's how you can make up for having a bad serve receive, is just make an aggressive swing.
So Letourneau in now. She's a freshman out of Tulsa, or a redshirt freshman out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. That'll be a service ace there for Ferguson. That was Ferguson serving.
Yes, it was.
The way I'm sitting, there's this big pillar in the way. I can't see where we serve from.
Yeah, this gym was originally 2 separate sides, had a curtain that came down in the middle, and unfortunately we got rid of the curtain, but there's still the spot about a 10-foot support beam that runs up and down, and it's not going anywhere.
Oh no, I don't think you can really go around that one. Actually, that's the reason our main camera's shifted a few feet to the right. It's not dead up even with the net like some places. But you do get to have your own arena. You don't have to share it with basketball like a lot of places do.
And that's always been a big plus, is we were able to work our practices around their schedules. If they had a science lab that ran late, we just practiced late.
The opponent there for the Tigers now trailing by 3, 8-5. Some of the things, and you don't have to practice on a different court if you need to make space. So you get your court, the court that you play on all the time is a court you will always practice on. And, typically it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but this season, especially, is that one, that'll be a point for SAU. But this season, when basketball and volleyball are pretty much playing at the exact same time,
Yes.
I couldn't imagine trying to practice on the same court.
It would be a logistical nightmare with men's and women's basketball and volleyball.
And on top of that,
and for the athletic trainers, just all the staff.
And with COVID restrictions on that.
Yes, because you have to clean it before anybody gets into it, which they do anyways in here, even though it's just them. But you'd have to do it in a short turnaround.
It's a good attack there by Fielder, just kept alive. That was a good dig by SAU. A little bit too much on it from no. It'll be a point for Ouachita. Ouachita still trailing by 3. Score is now 9-6. It'll be 6 serving 9.
That's one thing in volleyball, whether you're on the side of the court with the players or on the stands. When a ball gets hit opposite of you, sometimes it's so easy to tell, but when they're close, it's really hard to tell if it's in or out. Even line judges have trouble seeing it sometimes, and it happens so fast.
So that is Hogan who just served it. She's one of the 2 seniors. That'll be a point for Ouachita.
And right now, this set's really resembling the second set where we let them get a couple-point lead, and then we kept it close. So I'd really like to see us make a little mini run sooner rather than later.
Good dig there by Hogan. That'll be another kill for Lowe.
And again, that was Emily hitting the ball. Instead of trying to turn it too sharp or anything, there was a split, and she hit it to the deep middle of the court, which was perfect.
So now just a 1-point set here. Ouachita down 9-8. And that'll be another attack error. That time it's on Kennedy Poe, and it's tied up at 9. So that'll be attack error number 16 for SAU.
And that's one of the toughest plays to make as an outside hitter, a ball that's kind of coming from behind you. It's just hard to see the net and realize where it's at. But this is the play you want to go fast on.
That's a good job. That was a good dig there by Hogan, keeping that one alive. Well, that'll go into the antenna, it looks like, so that should be a point for Ouachita.
But see, that's a play that when you're watching the game, you don't really realize it. But by Shannon hustling and making that play, you force the other team to make a play to get the point instead of just letting it dive. But she's quick.
Ouachita now up by 1 point. They take a lead. That was a good kill there. Tied back up at 10. That kill goes to Kennedy Poe.
And she's leading their team in kills with 7.
Yeah, that was
8.
No, I think it updated.
Okay.
So that would be her 7th on the night. We've got both seniors on the court now for Ouachita. And Shane Hogan and J.J. Mack. It's a good dig there by Castello. Day with another attack, but it'll be an error as it just didn't quite clear the net.
That was the swing where she got a little bit too excited because where she was swinging was wide open. She just wanted to hit it a little bit more down than she should have.
SAU now with a 1-point lead. It's 11-10. That'll be another good block by the SAU front row. That time it was numbers 3 and 4. That is Abby Bermudez and Morgan Schuster. They both get the blocks on that one.
Yeah, both setters in this game are pretty tall, athletic kids. They're not real tall, but if you're pretty tall in this one, then you're tall enough as a setter. So
that was a good save there by Castro.
Another great save. Four hits. They're saying the ball didn't come over.
And Ouachita will call its first time out of the set. They're down 13-10. So Coach Frizz will want to have a word with her athletes, kind of tell them this. I mean, what in this situation, what would you be telling them?
Well, at this point, several of their points have come off of our mistakes again, where we've kind of let up a little bit. Had a couple of swings where it's one of those where you look at EJ and like, hey, EJ, take that ball, go over the top of the block, and hit it to either the 1 or the 5 corner. She's got such a good swing, and she's so confident in the swing that there are just times you just wonder, like, hey, it's still a great swing not to hit it as hard as you can. But again, I've seen her she's hit every angle of the court tonight, but you're telling the players right now, like, hey, relax, we're up 2-0. Next point, side out here, and let's make a run. Because if you tie it back up, then again, it's like happening in the second set. It's a mental thing for you where you feel pretty good about it. Yeah, I was joking with one of my former volleyball players the other day. She called to check and see how my kids are doing. She used to watch them some for us. And she used to say, she was a 5 foot, she'd say 5'7", but she may have been 5'5.5". But she'd say, well, Coach, I'm pretty tall. And I'm like, if you're comparing yourself to 5'3", you're pretty tall. So as I'm looking at these two setters, like, we say they're pretty tall setters because they're not bigger than the middles, but they're bigger than the S's.
Gotcha.
So just a simple random thing, but those are the things that sometimes you talk about. And there it is.
That was a good job there by Nilo, going right back to that 1 corner like you talked about. And it's now back to a 2-point set. Forgot to mention during the break, I saw it on the screen. They zoomed in on our volleyball sponsor there. We got Slim and Shorties, and then you've got John Pickett, attorney at law. Thank you for big thank you to them for sponsoring Washita Volleyball. The kill there for SAU. I believe that was number 1 on that one,
yes,
Kennedy Poe. That'll be her 8th on the night.
And again, their hitting percentage is slowly climbing up, and ours has dropped down in that 230 range. So the deception of the stats. 230 still looks really good, except this set we're not hitting well.
And Day gets another kill. She's up to 12.
Now watch Day the next time she swings, because she's cut the ball quite a few times to the left back part of the court, which is kind of the 5 zone. I would love to see her the next time she gets one on the outside either crank it hard line or just hit a roll shot deep line over the top of the block.
Had a quick substitution there. It looked like J.J. Mack went out and Carly Ferguson came in. It's a good save there by Day. Good dig by Hogan. Just rolled right over the top of the net. I think that was Brooke Jones who gets that one. Don't think that was planned, but you'll take it.
The net can be your best friend or worst enemy. And she could hit that ball the very next time, exact same way, and it stays on our side of the court.
Back to a 1-point set now. That'll go out. That'll be a kill for Ferguson. That's her 5th on the night. We're tied back up at 14. So almost exact copy of what we saw last set.
Yes. And we hope that it finishes the way that the last one finished.
That is for sure, as Churchill served that one away. And that'll be a good block there by Ferguson and Jones, and Washita now up by 1, 15-14.
And that was the perfect time for that block to keep momentum, because you don't want number 14 for them feeling like she's going to be able to get another kill because she's good.
So number 14, that's a gross. Like that'll be another block for the front row for Washita. That was Ferguson again. And now SAU will call their timeout. Washita up 16-14. So 2 fairly quick timeouts, and in that time between, we've seen a momentum shift from one side to the other.
Yeah, when Coach Frizzell Kaiser made that last timeout, the team came out and really responded. And again, here you're just telling them, okay, here's what we did that worked, keep doing it. And SAU is right now doing the same thing Coach Frizz did play ago or timeout ago, just telling them, make sure you get a good pass here. Here's what we want to run. And then you hope you get the pass to allow you to run it. And if you don't, then you hope somebody does something well with the ball.
So Coach Frizz talking to hers in a somewhat spaced out huddle. Another update, Harding up now in set 2, 21-19. So still a close one up in Searcy. We would tell you the UAM ones, but they're not keeping their live stats. which is different. Usually everybody keeps live stats. I guess UAM's either are down or just not on the list tonight.
And sometimes they just don't work right.
Oh, we've had several problems with live stats throughout the season. I'm glad they're up and working tonight.
But you'll have those times, everything, you test it all before you get here. It happened with our scoreboard countless times. You'd test everything, and you get here and you turn it on, and it would work up until the first point, and then it would shut off, and you can't figure out what's going on.
That'll be a kill for Ferguson there. And that'll be her 6th on the night.
And that was that play that coming out of the timeout. We had an aggressive serve. We stayed aggressive because we had the lead, and they didn't serve receive well.
Church to serve away once again. And that'll go through the hands of Ferguson there. That'll be a point for SAU. Back to a 2-point set now, 17-15. Arkansas Tech is up 2-0 here, getting ready to start the 3rd set down in Monticello at UAM. They're going to say it went off the front hand, so that'll be, or tip on the front row, so that'll be another point for Ouachita. Back out to a 3-point set.
If you notice that swing, I'm not sure if you noticed where EJ hit, but she hit over the top of the block down the to the one corner. So she's taking full advantage of the entire court.
That'll be a point there for SAU. Just got away from the Tigers.
Castillo gets a touch on. As coaches, we say everything, but we obviously know that doesn't mean everything. But she gets a touch on so many of those. And it has to be comforting as a coach to have that kind of libero back there that you feel good about her getting touches. I think that was 4 hits for us, but if the officials don't call it.
That'll be another kill there for Gross. When she hits it well, it's hard to defend.
Yes, and it, you know how in baseball, certain pitchers, they pitch and the ball just jumps out of their hand? That's what the ball does out of hers. It just looks a little bit faster and a little bit harder than a lot of other people. That's a great swing, but a good dig on the other side.
Good job by SAU keeping it alive there, but that'll be a kill for Jones, it looked like.
Yes, number 21.
That was Brooke Jones. She'll get the kill. Have a quick sub. Looks like Caslow's going to go out, and Lowe's going to come in. Looks like Caslow's going to have some tape on her knee, which is that knee in the brace. Another block down the front row. That'll go out. That'll be point SAU. It looks like here comes Caslow back in. Had to have that brace tape.
Tape it up. Sometimes they'll catch on the flooring, or sometimes just the Velcro just doesn't work well. Now, I don't know if people noticed or not, but the number 4, the setter for SAU, her last 2 sets were phenomenal.
That one will go out. That'll be point for Ouachita.
And that was, I know you can't see the corner, it was out, but it was very close.
Gotcha. Actually, I saw SAU not too happy about the call, but Ouachita's hit that 20-point spot, up by 2. Harding now at 24-22 in set number 2. And that'll be a kill for SAU. That was number 18, White, again. 1-point set now, 20-19. Like I said, we saw Ouachita tie it back up like the last set, but this time they haven't been able to get on that run, that 10-2 run that we saw in set number 2. We've seen SAU battle back, and to serve now is going to be number 6, Brianna Nipper, the freshman out of Magnolia.
And you got to give SAU credit for continuing to battle after being down 2-0. And
there's not any fight there, but that should be an attack error, so that'd be a point for Ouachita.
Yeah, that's either 20 or 21 attack errors. I don't know if they've...
It hasn't gone quite back up yet. It'll update here in just a second. That'll be 21 attack errors. Yep, there it goes. To Ouachita's 8. And Hogan gets ready to serve for the Tigers. That'll be a block by Day and Lowe, and they'll put up Ouachita. There's that 3 points, 22-19. And SAU call their second timeout of the set. Ouachita up 3, 22-19. So Ouachita looking to finish it out, and it looks like Harding will win set number 2. So it's tied up 1-1 up in Searcy, Arkansas. They just won set 2, 25-23.
And looking at the two games going on right now in our half of the conference, it looks like Monticello is giving Tech everything they want, but Tech's still up 2-0. And Henderson, with Coach Phil McDaniel, they're a very well-coached team. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they're able to go up there and play point for point with the best team in our conference right now.
So in Ouachita, I was looking at the box scores, and Ouachita, a similar way as Monticello, is they've given everybody everything they want. They've just kind of fallen short of those last few points. They'll take them.
And a lot of that can be attributed to being young. I know that we tend to live in a world that likes to make excuses for things. So I really don't like to consider it an excuse. It's just one of those things where they probably won't make some of those mistakes as they get older. We can call it an excuse because they're young, but again, it's just inexperience.
And it's part of it when you're playing so many freshmen. You're going to see that. And for them to have played as well as they have against some of the top teams, 2 of the top teams in the country even. Hogan will serve that one away. Ouachita just 3 points away from getting a sweep.
Called a net violation on Day.
So that'll make it a 2-point game here, 22-20. That is Kirk back to serve once again for SAU. That'll go out, so that'll be a point for Ouachita.
That was a great swing, and they just had perfect pass, perfect set, and finished up the perfect swing.
Ouachita out 23-20. That'll be another kill for Ouachita.
That was a Day again.
That would put her up at 15 now on the night. So I guess it's whenever we're playing here and you're on the broadcast, Day just has a fantastic day on the court.
I wished it was that easy.
That'll be an attacker there on Ferguson. Still 3 points. We're still at set point, or this is match point actually, 24-21. Ouachita looking to put it away. SAU not giving up without a fight, and Schuster's back to serve it away for the Mule Riders. Day looking to get the final kill. It's not going to get it there. And there it is. Kellen Church gets the final kill. Oh, no, they'll give it to SAU.
She was in the net.
Okay.
At first, I thought they weren't going to call it. I think Church even realized she was in the net because she turned with a big smile on her face.
24-22, still match point.
That was a great save by Castillo.
So just the set didn't go where it won, and that'll be a point for SAU. 1 point set here. That was a kill. That was another kill by Kennedy Post. She's up to 9 now, and Ouachita's going to take a timeout. 24-23.
And that's the good thing about having that 3-point lead is they just had a lot of wiggle room. But now the pressure's on you. But on the flip side of that, the pressure's on their server to get the ball in and make, So it's once it gets 24-23, it's kind of fun because it's pressure on everybody.
Said Ouachita can put it away with the next point. But at the same time, if SAU gets one, we're going to go above 25. Set number 3 in UAM. Arkansas Tech leads at 2-0. It's tied 5-5 right now in set number 3. Really too early to give much information on that one. But Tech's looking to get the sweep there. Harding's trying to come back. They just started set number 3 in Searcy. But we're getting ready and back to serve for SAU is going to be number 4, Morgan Schuster out of Arlington, Texas. Looking to keep SAU alive as it is match point. Received by Mack. Day looking for a kill, and it's going to go off the front row. No, it'll go off the front row and out of bounds. So that will be match point. Tigers win it 25-23. They get the sweep over SAU. What a great showing here for the Tigers at home. And they've really been able to bounce back. They went out and got swept on the road against Arkansas Tech and Harding because they had to play them back-to-back. So to be able to bounce back and come back and sweep a team after going a combined 1-6 against the opponents that they played really shows a lot to the team.
It does, and again, the uniqueness of this year, they get to really be, they get to have those freshman moments where it counts, but you see the improvement. It's a confidence builder when you go 3-0 against somebody, especially when you had a pretty tight 5 at their place. So the fact that they are coming back from the 2 losses last week to this, and then I guess they don't play again until next Tuesday, so they're back on that schedule.
Yeah, like I said, they had to play Harding on Thursday because it was originally scheduled for, I believe, February 15th, that area. Or February, I can't do math all of a sudden, February 17th I think is when it was. They ended up having to reschedule that one for March 4th. So they played at Arkansas Tech, lost 1-3, and then immediately had to go to Harding 48 hours later, which was not easy. But then they come back here, take down SAU 3-0.
Yes.
That is in my opinion, that has to be a big confidence booster looking at the rest of the season. They've got UAM, who they lost to first time. I feel like that's a matchup they can win.
Yes.
And then, I mean, you've still got Harding, which I've seen them beat Harding when Harding's been really good. We saw that last year here.
It's the weirdest sport, but if you show up and play your best, you have a chance. Now, there are some years that your best is awesome, but their best is still better. But I'd be excited to see how they do against, well, first of all, UAM, because that's one that, to me, that's the one that really matters. You want to get that win because that gives you a chance to finish third in conference. And anytime you're in the top, realistically top 4, then you're in the conference tournament. I don't know if they're even doing a tournament this year or not.
I can't remember if they are or not, but we're looking at, like I said, that means Ouachita goes up to 3-4 right now in this season. It looks like Tech will most likely beat UAM,
yes,
unless they can put together. They've got to win 3 straight,
and that'd be tough to do. And
that'll put Ouachita at 4th in conference. But if Henderson loses tonight to Harding, that'll put them tied at 3-4 apiece. And they are. I just got a message from Luke Robertson. They are doing a GAC tournament.
Okay. Because I know in basketball this year for the tournament, the higher seed hosted, and then after the first round they played a crossover.
Everything happened at the higher seed. There was not even the the finals were at the host site. So I'm assuming it'll be a very similar setup for volleyball. But like I said, so after tonight, there's a very good chance that Ouachita has now gone from 5th place to tied for 3rd with Henderson.
And I think we have the tiebreaker over Henderson because we beat them here. So
we still have to play them one more time, which is across the street. You know, the far away game across the street. But I think this part of the season's definitely looking up for Ouachita so far. I think like you said, they've got a really good chance to finish 3rd.
And the fact, like you were talking about earlier, that they bounced back after last week, because everything's mentally draining as it is, but then you have to travel 2 days, and unfortunately you don't play well. It's pretty mentally draining for you. But I've been excited again to see how they've reacted. Outside hitters played well tonight. The middles did well. Our defense looked good. I don't know how many digs we ended up with, but you're about to show me. 37. 37 digs on the night. I believe most of those went to Castello. I'll see. I know she was leading. Yeah, she gets still 16. We can go over some final numbers before we call it tonight. Let's go to we can go to individual box score. So final numbers for Ouachita. I said in the kills category, E.J. Day led the entire way with 16 kills. Carly Ferguson had 6. Lilo had 5. Fielder had 2, and then Church and Jones both had 2. So Fielder had 4. I think I said she had 2. She had 4. And if you look at their hitting percentages, our middles hit, well, it's roughly a combined 500, and the outsides were above 200, which when you get that, you've got a good chance.
And you had Kellen Church put up 28 assists on the night, which is impressive. And then for digs, like I said, you had Caslow 16. Hogan had 8, and Church had 5. Mack had 4, and then Ferguson, Day, Letourneau, and Jones all had 1. Church also added 4 more service aces to her to her list. She was leading. Now she's up to 10 on the season. Like I said, overall, this was a very good showing for the Tigers tonight.
They played well on both sides of the ball. Offensively, they looked good. Their hitting percentage was high. And then defensively, I think we said 37 digs. So my math skills are bad, but that's probably a little lower than their average. But when the team you're playing has a lot of hitting errors, that takes your dig opportunities away from you.
So they have here they're averaging 17 a set, so a little bit lower than average tonight. But like you said, SAU is right up here, 22 attack errors. So,
and if that's a typical night for SAU to hit in that 140, 150 range, then all of a sudden those errors are cut down to probably 15 or 16, and then you're sneaking up to your average for digs.
I said, so quick overview tonight. Ouachita won in 3 straight sets. They won the first one 25-15. Set number 2, 25-17. Set number 3 was a close one, but Tigers win it 25-23 to improve to 3-4 on the season, and they should move up to a tie for 3rd place in the GAC Eastern Division. So that will do it for us here tonight. Got to give a shout out to my for the OSDN crew. On cameras tonight, we had, I cannot remember last name, but I know it was Jamari. We had Madarius Hobson, who's a basketball player, come help us out tonight. We had Hannah Hickman on camera. We had Rachel Sansano, I said it right this time, on graphics. And then we had Luke Robertson directing. I am Matthew Branch, and I've been joined by former coach Danny Prescott. Thank you for tuning in to Ouachita Volleyball on the Ouachita Sports Digital Network. Have a great night.